Hey everybody, I wanted to show you all this Convoy T8 that I just got. This is by no means my first Convoy, but it is the only Convoy that I have. I've had a couple throughout the past and just didn't keep them for whatever reason, wound up giving them away, trading them away, and saw that Simon came out with a very pocket-friendly thrower. And if you know anything about me, or if you've ever watched any of my videos, you know that I'm gonna be all about a thrower, especially one that you can carry so easily in the pocket. I've been carrying it in the pocket and I really like the power that it has, the throw that it has. The emitter that I was just showing you is actually a mistake. Simon sent me this 6500K SFT25R and it was supposed to be a 5000K, so he's actually sending me another light. It's literally in the mail as of today, and I'll just give you a hint. You might see another video with this very light in it, a comparison. I'll give you some more clues at the end of this video. This is gonna get a lot of pocket time. The only other light that I have to compare it to right now is, I'll admit, a weird comparison because it's so different with the Osram W2, I believe it had. If I remember, when I'm editing this video, I'll put a link to this old Lumintop GT Micro. So there you have it, a GT Micro. I liked it so much that I wound up putting a clip on it. I believe that's some Olight clip that I had, and it's been great. I really like the user interface, you know, and it's been a great light, but they don't make these anymore. So, you know, I went and researched. I can't find where they have any of these. There might be some in a dusty warehouse somewhere, and if you can find a listing for one, please put it in the comments, because somebody watching this may want to grab one. I've got mine and I'm happy, and I'll carry it too. I carry it a lot, but just wanted to check out something a little bit different and see what's going on with these Convoy. There's a very simple user interface on it. I went with the 12 mode, and I went with the mode to where you can have the 10%, 30%, 50%, and then 100% power. And then I also opted for the strobe, bike mode, and battery check. We're gonna look at all these. I just wanna rattle them off really quick. The cool thing about having the strobe for me personally is I use the strobe feature a lot to catch people's attention. Like if I'm pulling up at somebody's house on a job, whatever, even here around the house, if I want to get somebody's attention, people are inside and I'm outside, I can hit up the strobe and catch their attention way better than, you know, knocking on a door or something like that, which you can do that. You can go old fashioned and knock on the door, use the doorbell. But I just like doing that as I'm approaching somebody's house, just to kind of let them look out in the driveway, see that I'm there, and then I go ahead and approach the door and knock on it, whatever I got to do. You know, it just kind of, it's worked out well for me. I've even had people compliment me and say, hey, I appreciate you doing that. You know, that way you're not right up on my door and startling me, you know. Anyway, here is the lowest setting. That's the 10% power. It's low. You can do a tail stand with this thing, and I've done some ceiling bounce at night, and it'll just give just enough light to where it's not like really blinding. It could go lower, you know, like if I had ramping on this thing, I would ramp it down lower, but since this is Convoy and it's gonna have the simple user interface, I'll accept that. That's way better than 30 lumen. I appreciate that it's probably just looking with my eyes. I don't have any kind of equipment. I think it's probably around 10 lumen. Then you can step it up to the next level. That's gonna be the 30% power that I was telling you about. There's the 50% power. Again, this is the 6500K. Same as the temperature of this Lumintop over here, by the way. And then that's going to be turbo. And look at how, like, even in the daytime, I'll get this thing out at night and show you, but even in the daytime you can see that beam profile and some spill with it. There's the strobe. That's the thing that I like about, you know, having that mode. You can go through the 12 mode procedure, the instructions are online, and you can take that out to where you just have whatever mode you want. You could do like 3, like a low, medium, high. You could do the 4, and then not have the strobe at the end. You even have an option I saw where there's just 100% power. You turn it on, you have 100% power, that's all you get. So that's cool. I mean, you can find what you want. I doubt that I'll ever use this mode where you have the steady light with the strobing every now and then. They call it bike mode, like if you're riding a bike to catch people's attention. I'll probably never use that. But I do use this. So that's the other thing I like about this mode, is I just checked my battery. It said 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if this was a full battery, it would say 5, and it just keeps on dropping down as you go. So I'm going to charge this thing up before tonight, so that way we have a nice full battery, and then we'll go back into that. I usually leave it in this. I did turn mode memory on. You can have memory on or memory off. I opted for memory on, so that way if I'm using it a lot to check wood lines and things like that, and I want to have it on turbo, I'll leave it on turbo and be able to come back to it, and I don't have to go throttling through all the options. So for me that worked out well, but you can turn that off in the series of clicks. The instructions are on there. Pretty cool little light. Let's get it out in the dark. I'm so excited for it to get dark and show you all this light that I forgot to mention. I did try to put a light up button, a lit button on that right there, on that tail, and it did not work. But no worries, the listing for the button literally said not for the T6, so I was just kind of like, I wonder if it'll work on a T8. So I threw one in there. The light on the tail button comes on, but it wouldn't operate the light properly. It would only turn on in 100% mode, like just come on in turbo, and that's it. You couldn't go into editing, you know, selecting the modes. You couldn't do anything else other than just turn it on and turn it off. So if you just wanted to use the light in turbo, you can have a light up button here, and at least for me, it did work for me, just FYI. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick was the clip. I've seen some people say they don't like these. I've seen some people say they have to trim down the screws. Maybe technically I do, but it's just barely touching that button right there. So I'm really not worried about it. I like this clip. The folks that I saw complaining about these clips prefer like the slip-on clip, but this is my preference right here because it's not going anywhere. It's deep carry. It's just super comfortable. I had to bend it a little bit because it was like way off the light. No worries, not a problem. Just bent it in a little, and now I can simply just slip this thing right down in the pocket just with a simple little lift like that right there that I just did, and you are good to go. That to me has just been a really comfortable carry and a good fit. Who knows, I might one day trim down those screws. I guess I could just carefully Dremel them. I don't really know what else I would do other than maybe like I've got some really good wire cutters, and my Klein brand wire cutters, they might cut right through that, but then you risk bending up the end and you may have an issue getting those nuts back on. I think I'd probably just carefully grind it down with the Dremel if I did anything at all. Like I said, I feel like it's fine, but that's just my opinion. Alright, cool. Let's let it get dark. Now it's dark, and we're going to look at the T8 SFT25R with the 6500K on the left, and then over here on the right with its green little button, we've got the Lumintop GT Mini. And there they considering you can't even get that Lumintop anymore. And the T8 is readily available at a great price. I'm pretty happy with that. Definitely a tighter hotspot on the Lumintop. Completely different emitter. It's just what I had that was slightly comparable to it, you know. There you have it. And then you got your different modes. We'll step it down over there on the right, kind of give you an idea of what you'd be looking at a little bit closer in. I feel like they have the same amount of spill. Even looking on camera here, on camera and off camera, same spill. They're handling differently with that hot spot though, on account of the emitter. Well, there you have it. I'll come back when I get the next T8 and compare the 6500K to the 5000K. So be watching for that video. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, and I'll show you what the 5000K does next to the 6500. I'm curious. I'm wondering what it's going to look like, if it's going to be like the same amount of throw. Obviously it's going to be a different tint. We'll have to see. Let's check it out. It'll be a few weeks, but it'll be here and we'll look at it. Cool. Thanks for watching.